morning, gamers.
Good morning, gamers.
Good morning, gamers.
My name is Davis Beecham. I'm here this morning with my co-hosts Everett Ritchie and his brother Eliot Ritchie.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
It is a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning. We're in the middle of November, and coming out in the next week or so, we've got some huge games. We have console launches, and so let's go ahead and get into the console launches.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got, as I'm sure all of our listeners already know, but November 10th, in just 3 days as of recording, we've got the brand new Xbox Series X and S hitting shelves. And 2 days later, on the 12th, we've got the PS5 coming out. I really wonder, y'all are more likely to buy new consoles than I am, as you know, because I still have my Xbox 360. What are y'all thinking about buying one? Or are you thinking about going one way or the other?
No.
Not really, honestly.
I mean, tough.
So I have no doubt they're going to be really good, and the hardware upgrades that they've made for these new consoles are pretty intense. But at this point, I'm just happy with my PC. I mean, PC is just what I'm liking at this point.
For sure. The only reason that I ask is, I mean, Xbox. If you're a PC player, Xbox is basically worthless to you, right? Because not only is it less powerful than your PC probably is, but all of the exclusives are coming to Xbox Game Pass. So if you really want to play any of those exclusives, all you got to do is sign up, $10 or $12 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you've got that right in your pocket. But the only reason that the only reason that I would buy any of these would be the PS5, because there are some tasty exclusives headed that way that I am.
That's very true.
Make a good point.
I will definitely probably play them on someone else's PlayStation. If not buy one of my own.
Well,
at some
so
point.
what are the price points? Because I'm looking at a spec sheet right now, but I don't have a price on my screen.
Yeah, they both have two series, right? One they've got a CD version and a non-CD version.
Right. So they both have that.
Right, I believe so, yeah.
They both have those versions. Cool.
Hello, and welcome to Eliot Corrects His Own Mistakes. Yes, he did in fact know that the PS5 discless, as he's about to call it, is called the PS5 Digital, but for some strange reason, he must have had a stroke this morning. We sincerely hope that you do not judge him too harshly for this, but as the sole editor of the podcast, I am allowed to correct my own mistakes. So enjoy the rest of the episode. Although I don't know the name of the I guess it's like the PlayStation 5 discless or something. I don't think they've really put a name on it. But I've seen pictures of it. The Xbox is the Series
X and Series S and X.
The S is the is the discless. But yeah, I think the difference there is that, and I've heard people talking about this, but the PlayStation 5 discless is, I believe, mostly, if not completely, the same innards as the PlayStation 5 regular one with the disc.
Interesting.
And the Xbox Series S is actually scaled down a bit, which is going to be a different sort of thing. I'm not sure exactly how much scaled down it is. I think the main issue is just a resolution output. Pretty sure the Series S only goes to 1440, and the Series X goes in 4K.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as price points go, I think it's like 400 and 300 for the 500 and 400, excuse me, for the PS5, and then 500 for the Series X and 300 for the Series S.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. I'm looking at a spec sheet right now. I've always been Team Xbox. Not that I've played a bunch of console in my life, but I just, especially ever since there's a bunch more Microsoft integration for Xbox, it makes it you're able to pair that with a PC player a lot easier.
Oh yeah.
But regardless of that, the specs are just better. overall in the
Are they?
Series X.
I honestly have not looked into spec sheets yet. Mostly just because I hadn't been planning on buying one.
Right. So I've got, for the Series X and the PS5, we have a 3.8 gigahertz, 8-core AMD Zen 2 processor. So Zen 3, I believe, this is the newest generation. Zen 2 is like the top of the line last generation.
Gotcha.
And the clock speed difference, 3.8 versus 3.5, not huge, but definitely, something you don't want to ignore.
Right, it'll put an edge on you.
They're both 8 cores. Right, yeah, they're both 8 cores. But you see this kind of trend in the spec sheet. Xbox is just a little bit better in almost every category. The GPU is a custom RDNA 12 teraflops, whereas the GPU in the PS5 is a 10.3 teraflop RDNA. It's got 16 gigabytes of GDDR6. I believe that's the same memory in the Xbox Series X, but the Series X comes with a full terabyte SSD. PS5 has an 825 gigabyte SSD.
Yeah.
And
I think I read something recently.
Max res for the.
Go ahead. No, you. Sorry. I'm just gonna look this up. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah. There's 8K max resolution for the Xbox Series X. There is 4K max resolution, I believe. Am I wrong? Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think that's right.
That may be incorrect, but from the spec sheet that I'm looking at, it doesn't say there's 8K compatibility with the PS5. That's big. Honestly, I wouldn't buy an Xbox to play in 8K. I don't even have a screen in my house that's 4K. So
here's the other big thing
depends on consumer what way people already have. I feel like the market for this is going to be a lot more gamer centered. People aren't going to be picking up an Xbox 360 to play Xbox games, which is fun. It's like they want a Series X because they are more on the actual consistent gamer side of things, because with an Xbox 360, super cheap, everyone can play it, not necessarily, it can do everything. And they've kind of split that up to where we have the Series S, $200 cheaper, with, I don't have a spec sheet for it, but what I'm assuming is not the same performance, not as good as the Series X performance, for a much, much lower price point. Yeah, really interesting.
And the other thing that I saw recently, I think this just came out like a day ago or 2 days ago, that it's been confirmed that the PlayStation 5, is stuck at that storage point. There's no expandable storage available for PS5 at the current moment, and not at launch.
That blows me away.
I know.
I don't get that. We're how many generations into Xbox and PlayStation, and you still can't just throw in another hard drive, which is the biggest issue people have had, at least from what I've seen. With a PC, if you want more hard drive space, buy another hard drive, put it in your computer. If you want even more, get another one, get 3 more.
Yep. And shoot, if they don't fit, get an external one.
Exactly.
Yep.
Which,
oh man, the only reason that I would not spring for a PlayStation 5 is that I know this has been talked to death in memes and different stuff, but man, that is just an ugly looking machine. I think it is absolutely hideous.
It really is. I mean, they both have their meme aspects of it, right?
True.
We got the mini fridge and the
Wi-Fi
toaster
router,
oven.
Right?
By the way, did y'all see that?
Yeah.
Did y'all see that Xbox actually partnered with Snoop Dogg to make full size,
to make an actual Series X
fridge? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It looks.
I'd probably sooner buy that than the actual Series X.
I'm kind of with you on that.
That is so awesome.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, let's talk about Destiny. Because I'm beyond excited. See what I did there? For Beyond Light. I've been watching these trailers for months now. It's the very first. This is the very first time in my life that I've ever pre-ordered a video game.
And you went full out.
Dang,
I did go full out. I went. I got the.
What are the options? I'll pull up Steam real quick.
Yeah, I think the options are basically basically you've got base DLC, which is all the stuff in the DLC. You got one with a season pass, and then you've got I think the third and final tier. There might be 4 tiers though, but I think the third tier is the DLC season and like 3 season passes and some silver or something like that.
Yeah.
And is that the deluxe one that you got?
Yeah, that's the deluxe one that I got.
Yeah.
I just
that's awesome.
Man, I love the look of that trailer. I've all the little spots they've been putting out lately. It's just let's go.
Well, this game came out in what, 2017?
Yeah, like fall of 2017, I think.
And I don't have a list. I don't have a sheet in front of me, but I know the player base cannot be suffering.
No.
I mean, look at the releases they're putting out. They're putting out huge expansion packs. They wouldn't be doing this if the player base wasn't still growing, which blows my mind. It blows me away. It was so well done.
It is a really well done game, and then quarantine has catapulted so many games into the spotlight. So many games that are easy to get into,
That's
and
a good
you can
point.
play them with your friends. Yeah. So games like that have really gotten a boost from all the people staying at home this year.
Yeah, and it helps that it's like a grindy loot shooter. You can really sink some hours into it, and that's easy to do in quarantine, as we've seen. But just taking a look at some of the high points of it, honestly, I didn't even know this. It was actually scheduled to be pushed out September 22nd, but it was pushed back because of Corona till November 10th, which is how many days?
That's 3 days.
3 days from now. Yeah.
Oh
3 dang days.
My goodness!
It's gonna be hard to get on here and do a podcast when we've got that to play. As far as player base goes, looks like the this is just, I don't have the full showing here. I've just got from like September of last year to now. It looks like it peaked in May of like right after Corona hit, basically. Sort of peaked at like 200K around there, and now it's sitting pretty at about 75K.
Yeah.
But that is plenty of players.
I just looked this up. How to prepare for Beyond Light. So the game is about 116 gigs right now in total. We're gonna be needing to clear 70 gigabytes for this update.
Goodness gracious.
Dad gummit.
70 gigabytes.
Look, I don't have that much dang storage space.
Well, so that brings us back to Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh yeah,
if you want
really.
Call of Duty and you want Destiny on your console, that's half.
I know.
Of your hard drive space. That's over half if you have a PS5.
And
right there, 2 games.
And with the Xbox One, at least, I'm not as sure about the Series X, but with the Xbox One, even if you have a terabyte hard drive, you really only have like 80. Like maybe 875 gigs free to begin with.
Exactly.
Because of all the stuff that's already, the software that's installed on there when
OS,
you get it.
Yeah, the operating system takes up a bunch of that anyway.
And so, that's, let's say Modern Warfare. What is it standing at right now is like 225, 250?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's ridiculous. And then, you add another 200 gig game.
So here's a fun little
450 of your 900 gigs.
Here's a fun little fact for you. Apparently, the actual usable storage space on the PS5 is only 667.
Whoa!
That came out of a leak recently.
So if you have a PS5 and you can play these 2 games, you can put maybe one other game on there, one smaller game.
Yeah.
I mean,
like the new. I mean, you even talking about the other big, another massive selling point of the PS5 right now is the Spider-Man Miles Morales, release.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is 105 gigs.
Man,
so,
sheesh.
you're just
if you want those 3,
right.
That's all you got.
Right. And that's like, this is why, I miss the days of games that were small and like mostly ran off the CD, and
right.
you didn't have this issue. So yeah, I got an expansion hard drive for my 360 back in the day when it was still when it was still, we weren't even close to the days of like 100 gig games or 200 gig games or what have you.
Right.
And even then, like, that was crazy buy. I was like, what? Why am I doing this? This is so extra.
Come so far.
But yeah, we're definitely in a different era now with these games clocking
definitely.
in that heavy.
So for those of you who play Destiny who are listening, or not, it's really interesting stuff regardless. There's a bunch of story that is going to be added. I won't get into that. It's really in depth, obviously. There are 4 new exotic weapons. There are 6 new exotic gears to get, which I'm super excited because I have just about every single one from this season. There are new elements. There's stasis. Would it be stasis? Stasis? We're going to call it stasis.
That's going to be stasis, yeah.
Linked to Solar Void and Arc, obviously. But it's a 4th, basically. It's 4th. You got Solar Void and Arc, and then now we're going to have stasis, which I'm so excited about. If you're a warlock, you can use your stasis staff to like to freeze enemies and shatter them. You can, if you're a Titan, which nobody really cares about Titans.
Let's be real.
You can punch through enemies and cause ice shock waves, and then hunters can freeze people and trap them in place and then shatter them. Bunches of icing and shattering the ice, which just sounds like so much fun.
I'm so ready for this.
Yes. Another big thing, honestly, the biggest thing in my mind is the Destiny Content Vault. This is what Bungie's referring to as the place where the things that have been in the game for so long, or long enough, what am I trying to say here? There's going to be too much space. There's too much stuff for them to deal with. If they make this content, this is almost twice as much a game in this expansion. Almost twice as much.
Twice as much of what's currently there, or twice as much as
content,
previous
right.
DLCs?
Is what's in there currently.
Okay.
Right? We're getting another 60% bump in content, which is huge.
They're removing some planets, right?
Yes. Titan and Io are being removed from the base games. The Curse of Osiris and Warmind expansion areas of Mercury and Mars are also being taken away because they're kind of season dependent kind of modes. The Leviathan raid is also leaving. That's being vaulted. Scourge of the Past is being vaulted. That's going to leave Last Wish from Forsaken and Garden of Salvation from Shadowkeep to play. We haven't even done the Last Wish, which we gotta look into that.
Yes.
Not really much intel yet on Gambit or Crucible maps, but that matters less to me, honestly. I'm just playing Gambit or Crucible. I haven't really learned to like maps yet in that, but
there's huge. Definitely some Gambit maps that we like, though.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, Gambit, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
There is crossplay.
Well, wasn't there already?
Wasn't there already crossplay?
There was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's so weird. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Maybe there wasn't crossplay. Now that I'm thinking about it.
No. So I'm reading more,
I think there was.
I jumped to a conclusion. It's saying that they're working on crossplay, but there isn't in this expansion pack. They're not going to have it in this one, but maybe the next one. Speaking of which, they already announced.
You're right. It's not.
Yeah, Bungie already announced next year's expansion, the Witch Queen, and 2022 is going to have Lightfall.
Wow.
Like, we already have 2 more to look forward to.
Man, and this is like really interesting because they made they released this game
which I'm
3 years ago, and so by the time you get that whichever one you call it, the 2022 one, it's going to be 5 years old, but like still getting new content, which is interesting. Yeah, because like you don't see that with a lot of games. It seems like.
Yeah, it reminds me of Anthem and the disaster that game was. I was blown away by the gameplay, like flying around.
Oh, that flying is so good.
So cool. So cool. You played some of it, Everett,
yeah,
right?
I've got a copy on Origin, sadly.
It's so cool, but the content is just not there. It's not replayable like Destiny is.
True.
Yeah. Well, okay. Oh, go ahead.
Tons to expand. Yeah, sorry. Tons to talk about there. But we won't get into that now. Next on the list is Cyberpunk 2077.
Everett's our go-to guy for
and this one is all me. So, fellas, I don't know about y'all, but I have been excited for Cyberpunk for quite a while. Maybe not as long as some people, but for a while. And it was not particularly fun when I read their Instagram like last week or whatever it was, and they pushed back the release yet again. A few weeks to December.
So when was the original release
at this
date
point, at this point,
original was like, August, right?
There have been so many. No, listen to this. There have been so many release dates for this game. It's like, it's honestly a meme at this point. But because this game was like, it was announced, almost maybe like 8 years ago, and there have been like E3 trailers and stuff in the last few years. But it was supposed to launch in April of this year.
Oh,
and
April,
I mean,
dang.
nobody knew, obviously that's not going to happen with all the quarantine and stuff. That was like, and plus they were already pushing it back. And so they put it back to September, right? September 17th. And that didn't happen either. So November 19th was the thing. And we were like, all right, it's like 2 weeks and here it's going to be. And no, now it's December 10th. So that's like 4 separate release dates. Wow. And if they push it back one more time, like I'm gonna believe it's like Half-Life 3. I don't think it's ever coming out. But I don't know about y'all, but that's what I'm gonna be doing on December 10th because it looks so excellent. And like honestly, there are other ramifications involved with its pushback too, because not only is it's moving back due to because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they've had issues and things that they've had to iron out, and so that's why they're getting extra time. And also there's been a lot of pushback for their for the crunch they were going on trying to get the game finished, and like the extra hours they were having their people put in, and so it got pushed back. And honestly, that made that made several games, several less anticipated games, actually push their release dates from December to January because they don't want to be within like a couple of weeks of this game's release, because when this game comes out, it's all a lot of people are going to be playing, and they don't want to have to deal with what it'll be like to release your game in the same week as something this high profile, because this is CDPR's or CD Projekt Red, their first big, I guess it's their first game since The Witcher 3 in 2015, which was a massive hit.
Yeah.
And people are really excited for this because it takes the same RPG elements of that game, but it makes it first person and like futuristic. And it's looking pretty good. I'm just saying. So, December 10th, if if any of y'all have been playing Destiny, you could take a break and play Cyberpunk, because that's when it's dropping.
Yeah, I've definitely got $60 to drop on a new game.
Well, why do you think I'm not getting Beyond Light?
That's a good point.
Have fun with Beyond Light, because I'll be playing Cyberpunk.
All right, fair enough.
That's fair. So, in other news, I forgot the day again. Is it the 13th?
Yeah, it's 13th. So like what?
So
5 days?
Call of Duty.
No, what am I talking about?
New game. Black Ops Cold War coming out the 13th. Was that a week from now?
I think it is like a week. Something like that.
Yeah, less than a week from the day of recording, at least.
Yeah.
Evernight, as we talked in the last episode, did the open beta and played, until max level. And it was interesting. When you hit max level, which is 40, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 40.
How far they let you get in the beta. it unlocks all the guns and attachments and perks, etc. Which I thought was really cool because it lets you explore the guns and attachments, etc. In a, I didn't know, I'd never played an open beta before for Call of Duty, and so that was a really neat experience to see, be able to be a part of the people seeing what's wrong with the game and what they did well.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that I think they're going to tweak. Like we talked about, the sliding. The movement is, it's fast. Black Ops Cold War is going to be a fast-paced game, but there's health bars. What?
Is there?
I never thought there would be health bars in a Call of Duty, but here we are, Cold War, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I will say that from the beta, Everett, you can attest to this. Frag kills are easy get out.
It's true.
And I'm looking at a patch list here for the game. What's going to be happening is we're going to be seeing a reduced damage in the outer half of frag grenades splash damage radius, which is really cool. I think that makes a lot of sense because you're going to have people, in the beta at least, we had people with a wild card that let you have 2 lethals and 2 tacticals, throwing grenades like crazy, and every other life you just get destroyed by a grenade coming out of nowhere, which is what Everett did half the game.
True, honestly.
A lot of other patches, I think, are going to help a lot. There are also some graphics optimizations that are going to be made, which I'm not surprised about, but that would help a lot. A lot of people like to play, not everyone has a completely outrageous gaming rig, and they can't play on max graphics or whatever. But what I do with, for Modern Warfare, for example, I drop the graphics all the way down, and I keep the resolution at 100% at 1920 by 1080. And that allows me to get, 100, 120 frames a second because I play on a higher frame rate monitor like Everett does. And I think that's really important in games to be able to drop the graphics and not lose quality of gameplay, It's not like, no game at lowest graphics these days, no AAA title, you're going to be able to drop the graphics low enough to make it look like abhorrently bad.
No, it's true, honestly.
Because the lowest levels are still really good looking. So I think that's really important. I think that's a really neat thing they're doing for Cold War. But yeah, that is super, super, super exciting stuff.
Not to mention, I'm really liking, I don't know about you, Davis, but I was really enjoying the map design I think they only had like 4 maps open for the beta. But the map design was nice layouts and pretty maps too. Like even on low settings, they were pretty.
That's super, super gorgeous. And obviously, it's a AAA game. I keep forgetting that games these days, like Battlefield 5, I'd drop the graphics all the way down on that, and it would look gorgeous. Gorgeous. Same for Cold War. But speaking of maps, we are going to be seeing Nuketown in this.
Oh, man, yes. I'm so excited for that.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
So happy about that. Lots of rage and lots of destroying the other enemy team is going to be induced from that, no doubt. There's also Cold War Zombies,
which look insanely good.
Looks really cool. Eliot can actually join in on this if he gets it.
Elliot, Are they selling zombies separately as a
I don't know
standalone DLC?
I'll look it up real quick. Hold on.
If they are, then I might spring for that. Because
that's
any excuse to play zombies,
Exactly. That's a great addition. I think they need to make it separate. If they don't, I'm gonna be upset about that. But because, like in this instance, not everybody's a competitive gamer. Like
that's true.
Eliot, excuse me. But zombies isn't competitive. So if you sell it separately, then you can get a bigger, a more expansive player base because people like Eliot will get zombies and play it. Really, really exciting stuff there. So moving on from game news, since we've covered, I think, what we already had, we decided to talk this episode about some RTS games that we've played, specifically older RTS games. I will say for myself that I know there are new RTS games coming out, but I don't know about them.
Yeah, same here.
Showing me some, I think it's like an iron, like a World War I or World War II based, like iron mechs in your army of World War One. World War II. It looks super cool. We might end up getting it and trying it out. But it's an RTS game.
It sounds great.
Honestly, the only RTS games I've ever played are old RTS games. I don't pay attention. I didn't even know there were new ones.
The main problem with that is, honestly, that in order to get into a new RTS game, you're gonna have to sink a lot of hours. It's not like jumping into an FPS or even a lot of action RPGs. You've got the main thing about RTS games is the learning curve, right? You're going to be going constantly learning what the mechanics are. How do you access certain menus? What do these menus even do? You know, like RTS games are mostly about how well you can learn the game, because it's really just about how effective you are at doing whatever, like juggling different aspects of world building and battle mechanics and stuff like that. So that's the reason that I don't play any new ones, because it's a steep learning curve. It's a
pretty daunting task.
Generally I go to video games when I want to relax. Not that the games that we play I'm always relaxed in, as you well know, especially late at night. But RTS games, like we said in the last episode, me and Everett love to play Age of Empires still with family and friends.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm definitely not. I got, I think, Civilization 6 recently. Mm-hmm. And I opened it up one time, and I kind of looked at the menus, and then I was like, "Nah, I'm good."
I did the exact same thing, dude.
Dude, I think we all got it. Wasn't it free on Epic?
Yeah, it was Epic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I can attest to that, and I think it helps that we play games. If you notice, we play games that we already have a nostalgic attachment to. For example, Supreme Commander is basically we played Supreme Commander 2. It's basically a newer version of what's obviously a sequel to Supreme Commander 1, but it's a new and improved version of Total Annihilation from 1999, which my oldest brothers Dan, Andrew, and Roy played a ton when they were younger, or young, I guess. But there's a huge nostalgic value there for me, and I love robots, so let's get it. And then Battle for Middle-earth, it's Lord of the Rings. And Battle for Middle-earth is literally Lord of the Rings based RTS, and that's why we love it. That's why we play it. But it's also a really well done and really fun game.
Oh yeah.
And in terms of the sinking hours into it and acquired taste, what you were saying about that, I can attest to that. I mean, I got into RTS games playing Supreme Commander 2 with Roy, and he would tell me, "Listen, play me. I know you don't want to. I know you think you're going to lose, but play against me." And we do this. We do it over and over again. He'd beat me over and over again until I'd figure out how to beat him. The only way to get better in those kinds of games is to play against people who are better than you. And I think that's true for a lot of video games.
Honestly,
but very, very true for RTS games.
You could even apply that to something like Modern Warfare, because I've played a lot of Call of Duty in my time, but because I've been playing online, I think I feel like I am doing much better on Modern Warfare than most things, because I've been pushed to outthink not only dumb computer AI, but actual people, and it makes you a better player if you can outthink other people and still win.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
There's also the aspect of RTS games where it's very common to be playing skirmishes against AI. Mm-hmm. which is a huge part of enjoying games like that. And you don't really have that aspect in FPS games these days.
That's true.
Bots are just not the same, man.
That's
it's
true.
just not
True.
even close to the same.
Yeah. Well, Everett, you should talk for a second about Age of Empires.
Yeah, I'll take us into Age of Empires
because
since that's really like the main. I mean, I've seen RTS games played, and like I've played a little bit of some, but like the one I really have the most experience with is Age of Empires 2 because when I was young, we had a CD copy of that. We would pass it around and put it in all the computers and run the game.
Yes.
And
yes, sir.
we would play that, and man, it was a lot of fun to do. And then when they put it on Steam in 2013, we all got copies, and
I'm pretty sure my dad bought us all copies.
He
so that we
did.
could all play.
It was like January of
That is
2014.
awesome.
He bought a whole slew of them. Anyway, so he bought us these copies, and like it's become. I mean, and we always loved to play them, but with Steam, it was new and easy, like it had never been before. Because, I mean,
let's
we
not
could
even
make
forget.
it work.
Let's not forget for sure that the big selling point with this Steam version was that you could finally do it in widescreen.
There's also
and
that
higher resolution. Because man, trying to go back and play the original release of that game now is painful.
It's pretty.
The UI
it's pretty rough.
takes up like a third of the screen because there's no way to control the resolution of the game. It's really, really obnoxious.
Yeah, but yeah. So like, not only did we have graphical updates, widescreen support and stuff, but suddenly you didn't have to like. There was a pretty much an always functioning, very few bug server that you could play on from across the world. I mean, like you didn't have to be anywhere close to the person, as opposed to the LAN games we would play in the house.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was definitely a big step up. But I mean, let's talk about it. If we go back to 1999 when it came out, like it had some. It was praised, like it was a big game in 1999. I think it was probably one of the top selling games in 1999, and people were, I mean, because like RTS games had existed at that point, but people were talking about the new features they had added, like being able to identify your idle villagers. So, your villagers weren't doing anything, you could find exactly where they were and do stuff with them. Or you could use the town bell and call them all to the town center. And it was, and like, there were so many things you could do, and, make hotkeys and stuff, and then group your battalions and stuff by numbers. So it was easy to just select your armies and send them here and there, and it honestly made like those kinds of things. And I mean, I think that influenced the genre a lot at that point.
Oh yeah, it
and
definitely
that kind of
did.
stuff is in. I mean, like it's kind of a given in RTS games now.
By the way,
even
I just
in the
looked.
next few years.
I just looked, and it was the fourth highest selling game in 1999.
Fourth highest selling.
But
Wow.
it did stay in the top 20 for 2.5 years.
Dang.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
yeah. This thing was no joke. It's got a Metacritic score of 92 out of 100.
Man.
Wow.
Like
Metacritic. I'm gonna look up. I'm curious. I'm gonna look up my games on Metacritic.
But the anyway, I mean, like, and it was just it's a really solid game, and like, even if it didn't have the graphical updates and the improved online play, it would still be a great game even 21 years later. I mean, and Eliot was saying, like, we would still find ways to play it even if we couldn't play it on Steam. Like, we would be downloading those patches and putting the CDs in our USB CD drives at this point, because what computer even has a CD drive now?
Yep,
And like, we'd be making it work because it's worth it. It's such a fun game to play.
And this actually reminds me, I was going to ask Davis about this because same thing really with Battle for Middle-earth. But actually, it actually happened there, right? Because Battle for Middle-earth servers went down in, what, 08, 06?
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, they were... They haven't...
by the way.
Ah, gotcha. Nice. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, those servers went down in like 08 or something, and yet there's still a massive player base. There's still tons of people who download that game from like shareware sites and rig their way into playing online with friends.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have been doing that for years.
The janky way we install it these days is just, it's incredible.
Oh, I know.
It's
yeah.
amazing.
I've tried and failed to do it like 3 times, so I'm well aware.
We got to figure that out soon. Yeah.
I know. But tell me, hey, Davis, talk about Reforged though. Because I've been sort of tangentially following what they're doing, but their patch updates are like 30-minute long YouTube videos, and usually I don't make it through the whole thing, but it's mostly just beautiful stuff. I mean, it looks amazing.
So, Battle for Middle-earth Reforged is it's what's amazing about this is that this is all fan made. So there's an expansion pack, Rise of the Witch King, which we all have. I don't know when it came out, but not terribly long after the base game, and then we discovered that there was a fan-made mod pack called Age of the Ring, and it's basically a total rework of the game. There's new factions. There's different factions. Instead of men, elves, dwarves, you've got Gondor, Rohan, Lothlorien, Erebor, Misty Mountains for the goblins. You've got Dol Guldur, which is the newest edition, which is Dol Guldur, obviously.
Is it though?
But Battlefield Middle-earth Reforged, I'm not sure about the actual factions and what the game content has, but it's basically a group of people, developers, decided to make a completely revamped, but not just content-wise, graphics-wise. They're making an entirely new game with, I believe they're using Unreal Engine to make another another Battle for Middle-earth. And it is gorgeous. It's like AAA title. It's like if they took Battle for Middle-earth and then turned the graphics into AAA title worthy graphics. It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Huge improvements there. Big improvements in AI, like the unit pathing, which I know you guys know a lot about it from Age of Empires. It's even worse than Battle for Middle-earth.
Yeah, that's like the only gripe I have with most RTS games. Pathing is just usually garbage.
And that's the pain of playing older RTS games, is the coding is just not very sophisticated. But that's gonna be so cool. I just exited out of my list of things we're talking about.
Well, I was going to say that I was on the Reforged website right now, and they're saying that what they're currently working on mostly is the multiplayer, because that's what most people play. Okay. But they are looks like they're sort of cherry picking as far as campaign goes. They might just throw specific things in there.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's super excited. It's 4K, like they've got all new shaders. The whole thing is just gorgeous to look at. I mean, they've got some of their screenshots up on their website, which is bfmereforge.org. You should definitely go check it out. Not a sponsor, but you should go check them out, because those people are super cool. They've been doing awesome work for, I think they've been working on this for like 4 or 5 years. But I'm loving what I've been seeing.
Super exciting stuff. Well, next and last on our list is you were going to talk about some of the other RTS games that you've played.
Yes. So I definitely wanted to get into like when we talked about last night, when we talked about talking about RTS games today, I sort of went back through my head and remembered all of the fun stuff that I got to do when I was a kid. And like we said in the last episode, like Everett said in the last episode, we didn't have consoles in my house when I was a kid. My mother wasn't a fan of them, and video games weren't a big thing. And so we we played the little stuff that we did, and mostly it was Age of Empires. But that since that was the only kind of game that I knew, when I was a kid, I would go to like bookstores and garage sales and pick up random RTS games, and I would play them. And I had quite the collection at one point when I was a kid, and I have no idea where most of them have gone now.
How do you pick up RTS games at yard sales? That is an era long gone.
Oh, I know. It's definitely not a thing anymore. But yeah, there was one that was I think it was developed by, I don't remember who the actual game developer was, but it was in partnership with the History Channel, and it was it was a RTS game of the Alamo. I remember. Oh, wow. I remember being blown. I think that was like 2002 or 3.
Whoa.
That was a crazy one. I had. Oh shoot! Everett, what was that one called that we were talking about last night?
Oh, was it Empire Earth?
Yes, the first Empire Earth game from 2001. I found that at a garage sale.
Is it like a partner with Planet Earth?
What was that?
It's like a partner with Planet Earth?
No, it was just...
you can control the animals yourself.
That sounds like a boring game.
Honestly, let's talk about that one cheat from Age of Empires 2 where
Planet
you can
Earth
control
Simulator,
the animals,
guys. We need to make it happen.
Totally worthless.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Great, you can send wolves after fully armored soldiers now.
Yep.
Is this a good idea? No, this is not a good idea. Worst cheat in the entire game.
But yeah, I mean, there were those. No, it's fine. There were those. There was one. Man, I can't remember any of the specifics about this now. But there was one that was like some sort of world conquest, like very large and sprawling. One of those things that's like made with a budget of no dollars, and yet somehow they put enough content in there to like you could play this game for 80 years and still not reach the end. But I don't remember. I wish I could remember what it's called. But that was a big one that I played a lot. And then there was the medieval Total War.
Oh, classic.
Oh yes.
And yeah, me and Evan mostly, my older brother Evan, played that a lot more than I did, but
he still does actually.
Yeah, well, I actually bought him a copy on Steam not too long ago.
Oh, nice.
As a present, because he hadn't had it in a while, and so I thought he would enjoy that. But yeah, that's a really awesome game. If y'all haven't ever played that, it's basically
Total War.
Yeah, medieval Total War 1 is basically.
Gotcha.
It's basically like Risk, except you get to fight the battles in real time.
Dude.
So like the actual main gameplay is turn-based, like moving armies around and creating alliances and things like that. And then but then when you actually go into battle, you actually get to go fight. You get to send your men to, do the things, and it's really cool. And they were it was very cool at the time because it was super cinematic. The camera angles and stuff for the battle sequences were really, really cool, and there was a lot that you could do with them. And nowadays the graphics don't look like much, but back then they were hugely beautiful. I mean, we played tons and tons of that. I played a little bit of the. I think I bought a 2-pack when I played that game most when I was a kid. I think I also had the Viking expansion, and that one was pretty fun too. But it was it was not quite the same as medieval. But anyway, just all that to say, yeah, I love RTS games. It's been a really long time since I really got into anything. I've been trying and failing, like I said before, to get into. Battle for Middle-earth with you guys, because for some reason every computer that I own hates that install process.
It tends to do that.
But I've loved playing RTS games over the years, and maybe I'll actually boot up Civ 6 again and sit down with it for a couple hours.
Getting into that as a group.
I mean, honestly, all three of us, if we all have it,
that's not a bad idea.
It's a lot easier to get into games if you're playing with people you like playing games with, regardless.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I'd give it a couple hours. We should do that sometime. But I definitely am enjoying Age of Empires still. So I'm not really starved for RTS at the moment.
No, for sure.
Every now and then, like it's just sort of a scratch and itch type of thing. Because mostly I prefer third or first person action adventure
really
shooters.
Well said.
But
scratch and itch.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I use it for.
We've had like three or four different like little spikes of Battle for Middle-earth in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And especially recently, it's probably been this biggest spike ever since we were, first playing it a bunch, because we found Age of the Ring, and it's such a huge expansion. There's so much you can, find out, and so many new things you can do in it, that it's been really interesting and really fun to play a lot of. All right, I think that about wraps it up for today. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to follow us on Spotify and SoundCloud. We're going to be posting episodes on there as well. Check out our social media, Instagram, Twitter, @GMGPod. Be sure to also go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/GMGPod. We got a bunch of cool stuff on there. Any support is appreciated. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.